Allow me to introduce you, Shauna. Shauna Dahl is active with the Raincoast Conservation Foundation, based in Victoria. She is the project coordinator for the Gulf Islands Forest Project, which is focused on addressing biodiversity loss, climate change, and other anthropogenic impacts on coastal Douglas fir habitats. Using Raincoast's signature approach of informed advocacy, the Gulf Islands Forest Project combines community engagement with science and policy review to achieve tangible conservation outcomes. Thank you so much, Shauna, and I will turn the screen over to you.
And with the context that we already have here, with Jens talking a little bit more about the high-level climate change impacts and Charlotte talking about biodiversity, I'm going to ground us in the Gulf Islands and the context of work that's happening in the Gulf Islands. So I'll just tell you a little bit about the Gulf Islands Forest Project. Our work is very diverse. We use all kinds of tools to try to engage with the Gulf Islands community to strengthen forest protections for the globally unique and increasingly threatened assemblage of ecosystems characteristic of the coastal Douglas fir region of BC, particularly on the Gulf Islands. Currently, most of our work is grounded in on North and South Pender Islands. But we are expanding currently to focus on the entire region of the Islands Trust area. So we're not just focusing on this one place. As I'm sure many on this call already know, where the CDF is, but here's a nice context map showing us exactly where. I actually have two here. This is a little disorienting having my slideshow running on one screen and the I think that hopefully you can see. Sorry about that. Well, this greater context map here, you'll see in the very corner of Vancouver Island, we have the yellow section, and that yellow section is the entire provincial extent and, in fact, the national extent of the CDF forest. So this is a pretty significant place. Currently, it's one of the most converted zones in BC with the most species at risk. And the greatest threat to this ecosystem is, in fact, change in land use. And I think that really resonated with me in Charlotte's presentation when she said change in land use is where we see a really great opportunity for change because we have control over that. And that's something that we're really focused on in Raincoast's projects, is looking at how we can change the way that we're using land in this ecosystem that is so limited in the province and in the country. So what we do at Raincoast is most of our work ends up falling under 4 umbrellas in relation to the Gulf Islands Forest Project. Those 4 umbrellas are education and outreach, research and collaboration, policy change, and land protection. I'm just going to quickly go over some of the activities that we do under each umbrella, just to let folks know what kinds of opportunities are available to get involved in forest protection in this region. So the first is education and outreach. One of the biggest focuses we have here under this umbrella is the Pender Islands Big Tree Registry. That's been a community science project that's been in the works since September. We currently have 60 trees in that Big Tree Registry, and we've been working with folks on Cortez and the Discovery Islands to expand that network of big trees. We've also been working with UBC and the provincial registry. And something we're really interested in gathering this data is the motivations that people have to actually participate in this registry and go out and find those big trees, because we feel like those motivations are what's really going to drive how policy is changed to protect those big trees. Some of our other education work is webinars and local community outreach. We go to a lot of grassroots groups meetings and write letters of support where we can and try to support local initiatives for protecting forests across the islands. We also do research and collaboration as part of the Big Tree Registry. We've been working with folks also on Salt Spring who are doing data collection on big trees there and using LiDAR data to detect those big trees and to kind of unpack how accurate that LiDAR data is in I don't want to say guessing, but estimating how tall these trees are. We also work with a postdoc researcher in Washington who is creating a Western red cedar dieback map to try to attach some data and scientific understanding to the anecdotal reports of Western red cedar dieback all up and down the Pacific Northwest coast. So a lot of our research and collaboration is rooted in our education initiatives. One of the greatest focuses of our work is policy change. In the summer of last year, we had a report produced for us by the Environmental Law Center at the University of Victoria, and they were able to synthesize all of the tools that are available to the Islands Trust to protect the I'm going to admit to Louise, who just came into the waiting room as my host duties. So where was I? Anyway, we're working on this policy change, trying to influence the Islands Trust to better protect the ecosystems based on the Environmental Law Center's report. So what you see here is an ad that we just ran in the Times Colonist yesterday, in fact, calling out some of the clear cutting that's been happening on North Pender Island. And on a lot of other islands. Salt Spring did a similar ad last month calling out the 40-acre clear cut that just occurred there. So a lot of our work is about drawing attention to some of these land use decision making processes that have been happening. We attend delegations, we write letters to ministers. There's a lot of forms that this work takes to try to influence some policy change to get some stronger forest protection across the Gulf Islands. And the last piece of the work that we do is land protection. We realize that education and outreach, research and collaboration, policy change, all of these things take time to really translate to on the ground action. And the Islands Trust itself has told us that they're a slow organization. And one of the benefits we have at Raincoast, we have a team of 10 full-time staff. We're supported by a huge network of other collaborators, but we're able to make really fast decisions and make things work. So we partnered with the Pender Islands Conservancy late last year to start talking about maybe protecting some land while we wait for these policy changes to go into effect. And we launched a fundraising campaign to purchase a 13-acre property on North Pender Island in November, and we had 6 months to raise the money we needed to purchase it, and we did so in 3 months, which really demonstrates the kind of commitment that the local community has to seeing these lands protected, despite the policy not really representing that desire. And I just wanted to go over some ways that you can get involved in this work, how you can help. One of the greatest things, and I saw this in Yen's presentation, I saw it in Charlotte's presentation, that we need to hold elected officials accountable to the decision making that they're doing. This takes the form of doing letter writing campaigns to your local trustees, writing to ministers, writing to MPs, MLAs, and taking the time to let them know exactly what you want to see in your policies. You can tweet about it. You can write the letters to the editor. You can write op-eds. You need to get your voice heard and out there and let people know that you want to see these things protected. Your voice does matter and it makes a difference. Something else I invite everyone to do is to participate in the local community science projects and other environmental initiatives happening locally. Most Gulf Islands have a conservancy, and if you attend a beach cleanup or you attend a tree planting event or a restoration event or pull some Scotch broom out of your front yard, all of these things do make a difference. And I guarantee that all of your conservancies would love to have another set of hands on board to help with some of the work that they're doing. And last, contribute what you can to local land acquisition campaigns and conservation programs. Every little bit helps. And if you don't have the time to commit, donating what you can to these kinds of programs is really helpful. Today, my partner is a student and he was only able to donate $5 to the Nova Scotia SPCA, who just got 77 dogs put into their care. And that $5 is going to buy a meal for one of those dogs. It does make a difference. I think that when you can contribute, it's really great to do so. So that was a really quick overview. I think I skimmed over a few things. I I wasn't sure if questions were going to be allowed, so I also included my email here, shauna@raincoast.org. Please feel free to get in touch if you ever want to learn more about how to get involved with some of the work that we're doing. And yeah, I think that's all I have. So thank you.